Welcome to today's episode where I'm going to be sharing with you a little bit more about my story. Welcome to Stop Binging and Start Living. And from the title, this is exactly what I'm going to be helping you through this series in this podcast, through nourishment, movement, and mindset. Because when you understand where these habits are coming from and how to actually create a change, a positive change for the long term, you can start living your life today by creating a life free from binge eating. So I am so excited to have you here, and let's dive into today's episode. Hi, and welcome to today's episode. So if this is the first episode you're listening to, my name is Dina Merhbi. I am a dietitian, neuro-linguistic-programming coach, and as well, a yoga and mindfulness teacher. And today's episode is really for me to be more transparent and honest, and as well share with you a little bit my story, because very often we listen to a lot of stories or podcasts happening online, but it's nice to know a little bit more about the person who's leading it. And here we go. So, as I said, my name is Dina. I've been a dietitian actually for the past 21 years, and I help people that are struggling with binge eating. However, it didn't happen by fluke in terms of me getting into this line of work. So, my youth was pretty a normal general youth, maybe teased a little bit in terms of my weight because I was a little bit heavier than my sister, even though when I look at my pictures, I was perfectly in a normal weight for my height. Just say. But I grew up in the fashion world, in the modeling world, so there's a lot of pressure there. However, I was okay and comfortable with my body, and I was actually an active kid. But everything changed when I actually gained 5 pounds over one summer when I was 15 years old. And oh my God, I was so teased about it, but not happy teased, like badly teased. My swimming coaches kept telling me I was going to sink to the bottom of the pool. Even my physician said I need to lose the 5 pounds. And as all my parents kind of got word of how did I gain this 5 pounds over the summer? Again, it happens. I was 15. It was a summer that I stopped swimming altogether, and I was getting back into my swimming back in September. However, a lot of people panic, and it made me very uncomfortable at that age because I did gain weight and I did need a new size of pants, but I was too embarrassed to tell my parents I need to go shopping. So I tried to force the weight down. So I did what I thought was best, that I was actually supported on. I went on my first diet. And my first diet, I was actually measuring my foods. Everything was kind of okay if I can look back, and the weight started going down. However, with the weight going down, I was getting, praised by my family, by my coaches, by my friends. And then it was like, wow, I've never been praised so much about my weight and my looks. I just kept going and going and going to the point where my parents were so scared, we actually had to go to see a doctor to understand what was happening. I haven't had my period in a long time. And even my coaches were worried because honestly, if I look back, I have like one or two pictures during that time. It was not a good look on me. I was really underweight that I couldn't see it at that point, but it is what it is. However, there's one doctor that told me something at that point, and I kind of snapped out of it. I realized this is not worth it. I was very unhappy at that weight, and I wasn't able to actually perform the way I wanted to perform in school and as well in my swimming. So I went to the other spectrum because hard head that I am, let me all do this on my own. I was scared to see a dietitian telling me I had to eat. Listen, I've been there doubting the health professionals, but that was long time ago. So I started eating by myself and getting back into the pattern, eating regularly my meals and my snacks. However, there's this fear that started happening of, oh my God, the weight is going up. Will it ever go down? So then I started exercising for the weight not to keep going up. However, the impulse to want to eat was so strong, I couldn't stop it. And that's when later on I found out I actually was struggling with binge eating, and actually binge eating disorder that only became a mental health issue that was knowledgeable or accepted in the medical world, I think in 2012. In 2012, it was actually part of the DSM, which is the book of mental health illnesses. So I was struggling with this binge eating, and to cut my story short in a certain way, yes, I was at a good weight. I gained a bit. I was teased. I was bullied. I started losing the weight. I got all the praise. And then I lost a little bit too much weight. And then we went all the way back up where I was struggling with binge eating. And again, I did the diets and the training. I would lose some weight and I would gain more. And then another diet, another training regimen. I would lose a bit of weight and then gain more, to the point that I actually was almost reaching close to 200 pounds. For 5'3", going from almost 95 pounds when I was anorexic up to 200 pounds within a few years. Physically, it was painful. Visually, it was painful, but emotionally, it was actually exhausting because I didn't recognize myself. It was not me that I saw in the mirror. And that's when I kind of realized, okay, something is not right. I'm actually a dietitian at that point. Whatever I was learning and they taught me was not working. And the thing is, when I started my private practice, weirdly enough, I actually started in the eating disorder unit. And there we know anorexia, we know bulimia. We didn't know about what I was going through. However, I had all these people that had the same symptoms and habits as me. They knew what they needed to do. They were eating well, if I can say that, because well is very relative according to each person. I was eating well, they were exercising. No matter what they did, they had this strong impulse to want to eat more and more. And I was like, okay, I'm not the only one. Other people are struggling with it. Yes, there might be some nutrition behind it, but there's something in the mindset and the psychology that we need to look at. That's why I dove more into psychology, certificate in mental health, a minor in psychology, and now right now being a neuro-linguistic programming practitioner, all that to kind of help better understand the human world. Because we are not just what we eat, we are what we think, we are what we surround ourselves, and also we are what we do. So it's really a lot of different things that actually impact us in terms of our habits. And by actually having a systemic approach of looking at everything, this is the only way that actually I was able to say enough is enough. You need to stop the dieting. It's not helping me. I just need to tune in to what I really need and tune out all the BS out there that actually brought me where I was, close to 200 pounds. And this is why I'm sharing the story, is that very often we have ups and downs in our life. Very often we try to follow what people are telling us on the outside. Very often we're actually good students in a certain way and doing everything right, but something is not working. It's because doing everything right is not the right way when it comes to binge eating. Binge eating is actually an emotional, biological, and psychological. It's biology, psychology, and social. It's really a lot of different factors that come in. So when you only focus on the food and you don't focus on the mindset and the emotions and the environment and the triggers and the limiting beliefs, you're never going to be able to create that kind of breakthrough to actually heal from your binge eating, because you can't hustle your way forward. You can only heal yourself forward. So we need to look at nutrition. Listen, nutrition is where I started in terms of my healing journey. I started saying enough is enough. Whenever I went on diets and I was restricting, I was always binge eating. Maybe if I stop under eating during the day, I'm going to stop overeating at night. And it did start happening. But then I had to do the deeper work. Why did I start binge eating? Why am I binge eating certain foods? Why are certain emotions make me go for that? So we had to look at the all or nothing mentality. I had to look at the self-sabotaging thoughts, the limiting beliefs, my environment. And as well, one big thing that helped me that I'm going to be sharing more and more is that I had to start saying enough is enough. Enough is enough from people around me telling me what I should do and what I shouldn't do. Enough people actually commenting on my body. Listen, no one should be commenting on anyone's body. It's no one's business. Just giving you a heads up. So nobody should be saying anything about your body. It is your body. It is you. That's it. So I actually started creating kind of like standards in my life, boundaries of telling people, no, this is not okay. Like people like, oh, you lost weight. And I was like, no, I didn't. But you look good. You must have lost weight. And I'm like, no, stop telling me things like this. They're very destructive to me and they're very destructive to other people, because looking good and losing weight do not go always together, and they don't go together. Looking good is looking good. Losing weight is losing weight. Why do we have to link them up together? And trust me, sorry if you hear there's somebody, it snowed in Montreal today, so they're shoveling the snow. And this is the thing, I actually even wrote an article about it, is that somebody looks good, they should just say, you look good. That's it. Losing weight is a whole other thing, because I lost weight. I went all the way to anorexia. And I wasn't really looking that great. I have like 1 or 2 pictures. I need to find them. So the reason why I want to share this story is that even though I'm a dietitian, I can say nutritional therapist, I help people a lot in terms of their mindset, there's a history that I have that I went through. And actually, I can understand what you're going through. Maybe not every single little details, but the struggle of hiding with this mental health struggle and trying to do things to help you overcome it. But then there's always that struggle and you feel like you're failing, you feel like you're not worthy. I totally understand it. And the reason why I want to share this podcast here today, this episode, if you're watching on YouTube, is that no matter what you are going through, you are worthy to create the life that you want. You don't deserve to be struggling with this. You don't have to just suck it up and just deal with it. There's a reason why you are binge eating. There's a reason why you're stress eating. There's a reason why you're emotional eating, compulsive eating. There's a reason for everything. And it's just by actually taking your focus back, having a bird's eye view, and better understanding what brought you to where you are right now and creating a change right now for the future that you're seeking, you can actually create amazing things. And that's why that I think I share in a lot of the episodes is that when you want to stop binging and start living, you have to focus on the living part. What do you want to do? What do you want to create? How do you want to live your life? And you actually also have to be away from that number on the scale that honestly, at one point, I threw my scale. I didn't weigh myself for a few years. It was anxiety causing in the beginning, but I felt so good because I was able to connect to myself. And that actually helped me feel better in my clothing. Because this is the thing, we want to feel better in our clothing. Less bloating, less swelling from the overnight binge eating, especially when you have salt, you feel like all this water retention. So remember, in terms, it's a journey and you want to enjoy the journey, because as a journey that when I did my healing through my binge eating, I discovered so much about myself, about so many things that I kind of let people step over me, that I didn't really have standards. I really didn't have like boundaries in my life. And I realized that I needed to kind of set those, and everybody needs standards. Everybody needs boundaries, because boundaries is one way for you to respect yourself, to be able to take care of yourself so that you can take care of those that are around you. It is a necessity for survival in a crazy busy world to have boundaries for self-respect so that other people can respect you at the same time. Again, just a little introduction, a little bit of a resume to get to know me a little bit more. And again, if you want to share your story, if there's anything that I can help you out with, make sure that you comment right below, or even send me a message over on any of the social medias. If ever you have any questions as well that you would like me to answer over on this podcast YouTube channel, I'm going to share right below a one question survey. You can just kind of ask away whatever you want, and if it's applicable and I can actually share the support, I'm going to actually be doing it right here. And if you want, you can share your information and your email, and I will send it to you once it is ready to go, so to make sure that you get the right information. So on that note, I wish you a beautiful and a balanced day. Dina Merhbi here, and I'll catch you in the next episode.